How's it going, everybody? Merry Christmas. This is Brian Funk, and today we're going to make a special free Ableton Live Christmas pack. It's going to be called the Nutcracker Sugar Plum Fairy Celeste. And I've got samples of a Celeste that I got off of freesound.org, completely copyright free, so we can use them however we want, from somebody named Stamperadam. So thank you, Stamperadam. And to help spice it up a little, I figured I'd use some of these nutcrackers that I have. I've been gifted nutcrackers repeatedly now, and I guess suddenly I'm a collector of nutcrackers because now I have 4 of them. But they make some percussive sounds that I think we can use maybe as a drum rack or perhaps even as little mechanical noises for the Celeste that we're going to create. So here are the samples. They're across 4 different octaves, C, E, and G, and that's going to be plenty for us to work with. There's even a little mechanical sound here. But we're going to kind of fudge that a little and make our own with my Nutcracker collection. So I'm going to put sampler on our MIDI track. And I'm going to drop all of these samples right inside a sampler right here. And here they are. And now I have to go through these and label them according to the notes. So we got C2, C3, so I'm going to do that. The fastest way I know how to do this is to just hover over here where you want to put the root note, hold the Option key, and you can then place these on that note. So I can even do 2 at a time if I hold the Option key here. Those root notes have been changed. You can see the R moves here and the root down here has moved as well. Okay, so we've put the root notes. Now we need to go into the velocity tab and set it so that our harder notes play on the higher velocities and the softer notes on the softer. And I'm going to just select every other one of these hard ones because all the hards are going to play at the same velocity. So we can do this all at once. This should be a little bit quicker than before. And maybe we'll have these start at 64, and then I'll select all the other ones. And these will end right before 64. Now I'm going to select all of our notes, right-click, and do distribute ranges around root key. And this will set it up so that the proper keys play over the proper notes on our push. All right, so I've gone in here. I've adjusted volumes and tunings so that we're in pretty good shape. I'm not concerned that they're not perfectly in tune. A couple cents is okay. I mean, this is a real instrument, so we would expect that. And there's a nice stereo imaging to this. So this was recorded with a pair of Neumanns, so that's nice. And that, as we start on the lower notes, we're more to the left. And as we get to the higher notes, it moves to the right a bit. I'm gonna put a mono on there. So now everything's right down the middle, everything's summed to mono. And then if I turn this off, I should be able to get a sense of that. That might be something I put into this rack, an option to switch between mono and stereo. Probably just do it with this control here. It'll give you the option to change the percentage of stereo width. That could be fun. So we'll make that as part of our macros. I'll bring that back over here. So now we're going to sample our nutcrackers. I'm just gonna see what kind of sounds I could get out of these guys. Right on this mic here, nothing too fancy. This guy's a piece of chalk. All right, so we got about a minute and change of sounds. I'm gonna go in here, just to make this a little quicker, I've turned off the grid so that I can get right in there. And I've made a little selection here. And if I hold down the Option key and press space bar, I can hear just that selected region, which I like. So I'm just gonna do Command D to separate that out. And I'm just gonna go through this clip and find a few that I like, and we'll use those for a drum rack and for some damper noises. All right, I got a bunch of these. I've selected them all. I'm gonna take them over into Session View and just drop them right in here so that I've got these individual clips. And the reason I like to do this is it's much easier to crop things. So I can just select them all, right-click, crop clips, and now all of these little clips will be their own individual audio file, and they're nice and easy to drop into a drum rack or wherever we might want to put them. Let's take them all. I'm going to create a new MIDI track, find a drum rack, drop it on there, and all of these guys are going to become part of our new drum rack. Drag them over here. Okay, so we got a bunch of nutcrackers. To get some consistency here, I'm going to normalize these samples. So I can right click here, click normalize, and just go through them all. Okay, so a whole bunch of stuff here. I told you I wanted to use those Nutcracker sounds for mechanical noises in here. So I'm gonna make this into a group and I'm gonna create a new chain. I'm gonna put a new sampler on there. A new sampler right here, drag that in. And I'll just grab a few of these kind of haphazardly. And I'm gonna drag them into this instrument rack onto this new sampler. And they're all here. I'm gonna set this to round robin and have it be other, which is random, except it will never play the same thing twice in a row. And now I'll solo this so you can hear what we got. So anytime I play a note, I get one of these samples playing back. Now, they're playing back at different pitches. I don't want that, so I'm gonna take the scale down to 0. No matter what note I play, it plays back at the regular pitch. Now let's hear what that sounds like. So every time I play a note, I get that sound. I actually want that to happen though after I play a note. So I'm gonna go into our MIDI effects and use the note length device. Drop it right before this sampler and change the trigger to note off. So now when I play the notes, I get it on the release. And it sounds kind of like these nutcrackers are turning our Celeste off. Okay, so now let's set up some macro controls here. I'm gonna start, let's name this first. This is gonna be our Celeste, and this will be our nutcrackers. And let's take our Celeste. Let's start with the attack. Some of these are a little aggressive. I'm gonna first mute the nutcrackers because we don't want to hear those just yet. I'm gonna put that to macro 1, and I'll probably limit that a little bit, and I'll also put a release on macro 2 so we can get a little control over that. Like how long do you want these notes to ring out? So we can have some control over the release. But we also might want some control over the attack just to soften it a little bit. I think a filter could be kind of nice here. So we'll put this low pass filter here just so we can take a little bit of the high end out of there. We'll map this mono control to macro 4, and we'll also limit that. We don't need 400, but maybe we'll let you go a little over. We'll make it 200. So normal will be 100. If you want a little extra width, you can have that. And if you want mono, you can go there. So let's set that to 100. Now I think we can start having a little bit of fun. Let's try the new auto pan tremolo. So I'll put that over here, and we'll go to tremolo, and let's give ourselves like an amount control, a frequency, and maybe the attack as well. The attack is really fun because it allows us to fade in. So if I crank this up, it takes a little time for that to come in. That's really nice. Very cool. I think we might benefit from a delay on this as well. That's really nice. Let's set this up too. Let's have a little control over this modulation here. This is kind of fun. So this is a fun control because this affects the timing of the tremolo. It slows down. That's really nice. All right, let's reveal some more macros. Let's get them all in. We will add some delay. Let's put that on. We'll have the delay time, and also the feedback as well. And that, as we heard before, is really nice. Let's turn up some of that dry wet. A fun control to play around with is the zone shifter. So that's changing the way the samples are played back over the keyboard and the way they're stretched. It changes it pretty drastically, so we'll just put that down. That's macro 12, the key zone there. Let's go into the Nutcrackers. So these guys here, we've muted them. I think first we're going to want volume control on these because they probably don't need to be on all the time. And I think maybe a transpose would be cool as well. So let's put that in. Transpose, because maybe we want them a little bit lower, or a lot of it lower. Just adds like a little realism almost. That's like some kind of mechanism is doing this. It's not affected by the delay too, which is kind of cool. This is the kind of stuff I think that brings your sounds to life. We need to be more human. AI is doing really good at mimicking music and being perfect, so let's bring humanity back. And I think these little sounds of our Nutcracker friends just adds a little something to this Celeste sound. I'm gonna bring a chorus on here and put it after the delay, so the delay is also chorused. And I'm gonna just put our dry wet and maybe leave our rate like that, and maybe just our amount, so that we have just a little bit of chorus we can put in there, or a lot, I guess. Let's rename all these macros. Okay. And I think the ultimate test of this will be to hear it playing the actual MIDI of the Nutcracker Sugar Plum Fairy track. A little delay. There you have it. It's the Nutcracker Sugar Plum Fairy Celeste Ableton Live instrument for free download. You get it on my site, brianfunk.com. Thanks a lot for checking this out and my work. Have fun. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.